All right. Well, the latest crime stats show an increase in crime statistics. While this has been attributed to skewed data due to the lockdown, one advocacy group says that the police are losing the war on crime. The Zelna Jansen Consultancy says this leaves senior citizens, women and children vulnerable. And Zelna joins us now all the way from Cape Town to have this discussion. Thank you for your time, Zelna, and good morning to you. Law enforcement there, the likes of the SAPS and their responsibility and role in this, do you think they've dropped the ball?
Hi, good morning, Tumelo, and to the viewers, and thank you for inviting me. I think if we look at all the challenges that SAPS is facing, you could safely say that, yes, they are dropping the ball. I mean, it's sort of a rhetorical question if you look at what happened just a month ago in KwaZulu-Natal in Gauteng. You know, we have to unfortunately and sadly say, you know, that SAPS is dropping the ball and failing in protecting vulnerable citizens. Because when you go to the police station or if you call out to the police, it's when you are at your most vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so we have to ask that question, you know, what are the issues and piling up in terms of SAPS's ability to protect us.
Yeah, and when we talk about, you know, the SAPS sort of like losing focus here on getting the grip on crime, I think of cases such as a 70-year-old, woman who unfortunately was raped and lost her life. That case being withdrawn by the NPA. Now there is a Human Rights Commission wanting to step in and see justice here. It seems South Africans are also losing hope in the justice system as to whether or not it is capable in this country to do what it needs to do. But the question is, if we can't entrust on the very same, you know, facilities, organizations, bodies meant to assist, where else do South Africans go for help?
Well, I think there was also a survey that was done, I think last month, looking at people's trust in the elected officials and government. And that has the outcome of that was that it has reduced dramatically. So, yes, we do have a reduced sort of like confidence in our government institutions, and that includes SAPS and the justice system. So, yes, what can we do? Because we all have to live here. We have to sort of like find ways of keeping ourselves safe. I mean, if I have to call the police station, there's a crime and I want to report it, or if I'm in trouble and the phone only rings, you know, who can I rely on? So what I said in my article is that communities, especially poorer communities, will have to find ways of sort of networking amongst themselves, you know, building that relationship with each other to sort of monitor where are the crime hotspots and what can they do about it. But I'm not saying that this should be like a sort of vigilantism. I'm saying they should work in conjunction with the community police forums.
Right.
And to build that relationship, because how else, especially in poorer communities where, you know, SAPS is far away and the vehicles are out of order. So we're facing this challenge. So what are we going to do about it? Yeah. So, yes, we're going to have to, as citizens, become responsible. Remember, we're also in a democracy, so we cannot just rely on an institution to save us. We have a role to play. So I think we've come to that sort of place where we as citizens are now going to have to be responsible, be actively involved in our communities, take ownership of the issues, and work with SAPS. Not that they are now completely out. We're going to have to find a way to lobby them, to build a relationship with them, and raise our issues with SAPS, as well as with our politicians, our ward councillors, and then see how we can raise it within our legislatures and our parliament so that they can lobby within government, you know, whatever the issues are in SAPS. You know, if you look at parliament and the legislatures, they have the caucuses where the MECs and the MPLs meet, as well as in parliament where the MPs meet every Thursday, I think it is, with ministers. So there is an opportunity that if communities, and I know it's going to be hard work, especially in poorer communities where the issue is poverty, right, you know, and drugs, and either you have to work extremely long hours, but there is just not going to be any other way to sort of resolve it other than these citizens, you know, sort of appointing community leaders within their street or their circle and having to be actively involved. I think that is going to be one of the ways in which we can sort of see a reduction in crime.
I think what I'm hearing from you, Zelna, is that we need to hold each other accountable, whether starting in families, on our streets, in our communities, working in conjunction then with the police as well as community leaders. That's how we can actively, fight against crime. But thank you for your input on this, Zelna Jansen, for joining me from the Zelna Jansen Consultancy. Thank you for your time.